Good morning and welcome to All Indiana Bets. I'm Danielle McConnell. It is week 6. I know I'm going to drive you crazy, Jason, of college football. So that means we're about to make you some money.
Look at that. Queenie showed up to work today. Wait, what's going on? Danielle's actually at work today? Let's see how much trouble we can get into. Let's see how much money we can win.
Hey, I'm Scott Long. I'm an Aquarius. I love the Colts and the Hawkeyes. So let's bring on the field goals.
Whoa.
Right here, right now.
What?
This is All Indiana Bets, presented for the people, powered by Caesars Sportsbook.
I'm glad to see you missed me.
Yes, it's good to see you back. Like, is this the 1 week that we get custody of you? And are you going to be gone for the next 3 weeks with your other gambling show that has custody?
I will be here for the next few weeks. Okay. So you'll get tired of me, don't worry.
Now, I know we're a college football show. We talk about college. But, of course, Thursday was that incredible, dismal victory of the Colts. Mm-hmm. And it just proves that if you can kick field goals, you can win games. That's my point of view. I love field goals. This is the field goal show. We are looking for 3 points. What do you do, Danielle? I know you got some stuff in a prompter or something. I don't pay any attention.
No, I just listen to you guys talk, and then I'll cut you off when it's appropriate.
You could have done that a couple of minutes ago, Danielle. I'm not going to lie. Anytime Scott goes into a story, buckle up, kids. Set your timers.
I kept that short.
Hey, we love Scott's stories, but we will get started, and this is a gambling show, so it's only fitting that we begin in Las Vegas.
All right.
That's where Notre Dame will face the 16th ranked BYU this evening, and it's the unranked Irish who are actually favored in this game. The line is 4. Hammer, what are your thoughts?
Notre Dame's been getting better, right? It was such a dismal start to the season, and that game against Marshall was just such a hot mess. They've been getting better, but it still feels like this is a lot of points here, Scott, against a team that has grown men, right? BYU is a horse of a different color here. These aren't 21-year-old kids that have, don't know their backside from a hole in the ground.
Sure.
These are grown men. They're 25, they're 26 years old. They've served their religious purpose. They've got families, they've got kids, and they're playing pretty close to home. This is a long roadie for Notre Dame.
I think this is called the Temptation Bowl. They're sending Catholics and Mormons to Las Vegas. What is going on here? I love it. That's what this show is about. Temptation. We have drinks, we have gambling, and I love BYU in this circumstance. Sorry, I would just share right now, I don't trust Notre Dame's quarterback. I still don't trust their coach. So I like BYU in this spot. Not a heavy dump. This is kind of a lighter pick.
I'll go the other direction. Notre Dame in a close game.
Right.
Again, it's not going to be Colts-Broncos ugly, but I think Notre Dame finds a way to cover this late in the game. They run the ball. They wear out BYU. This isn't an official play on my card today, but I'm looking forward to watching it, though.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with our first picks today. Mr. Long, why don't you go first?
I got really excited taking this pick because it's like, oh, LSU plays Tennessee, hammers Tennessee, and I was thrilled to be part of this. I thought, I'm going to take LSU. Where's my little graphic? Don't we usually put a graphic?
We have to win to get a graphic up, Scott, normally. That's why there's not anything up on the screen for you.
Okay. So I was stoked to take LSU in this circumstance because I, like Brian Kelly, former Notre Dame coach, I enjoy him, but Tennessee has been garbage on the road for years and years, and they won against Pittsburgh finally this year on the road in a non-conference. But who was that against? A team that lost to Georgia Tech. I just like LSU's circumstance. LSU has not thrown the ball deep. Booty, who's their star receiver, maybe the #1 wide receiver in the NFL draft, I think he finds himself today. Daniels will find him. The one thing that LSU does well is stop the run, which is Tennessee's best thing since the best receiver for Tennessee is still out. So take the Tigers. That's 3 points at home. I like it.
All right, Jason, how about your first pick?
All right, I will go in the same game here, Scott, but I'm going to go in a different direction here. Tennessee, LSU. This was a mistake made by LSU to have this game during the daytime, because it's completely different to have LSU at night and LSU at an 11 o'clock start local time. So I'm going under on this one, 64.5. Scott, you made the case for me.
Yeah.
Tennessee's missing their best receiver. It's not like LSU's offense is clicking on all cylinders here. This is going to be a tough environment. Tennessee's offense is really good. They lead the SEC. They're going to throw it around the joint. Hendon Hooker's had a great year, but this is one of those ugly, early starting conference games. The fans might not be fully awakened into it by the time this game kicks off.
11 o'clock.
Right.
Louisiana time.
So this was a break for Tennessee, that this isn't a night game. Tennessee's coming off a bye last week. They've had some time to prepare defensively. And odds makers know that this Vols team can score, so they're overvaluing them right here. Yeah. We're going to go under 64.5. This is going to be a fun game to watch, and this is an early start. We're going under.
Okay, if you want to keep track of any of these bets that these guys are making, there is a QR code there. It's usually over Scott's head. There it is.
There it is.
You can scan that QR code right there. Coming up next. Don't worry, Indiana and Purdue. We didn't forget about you. We will
We did, actually.
No, we did not. We're going to break down the Hoosiers and the Boilermakers coming up next. Welcome back. This is part of the show that we like to play, Feelin' or Fadin', with our fancy note cards. Are you good? Did you have these when I was gone?
We did.
Good.
We didn't use them, but we had them available.
Okay, so here we go. They're all about local games today, boys. First up, okay.
I'm going to go get a beer. I'll be right back.
Oh, my goodness. Coming off a huge win over Minnesota last week, Purdue is back on the road to face Maryland this afternoon. The Boilermakers are underdogs for a second straight week. The line is 3. Scott, are you feeling it or fading it?
Okay, first up, that was a huge win. So, you know what, Purdue, maybe I've been a little harsh on. Purdue has stepped up. They're right there in the West where they can actually win the West. This is the year definitely to do it. Wisconsin is way down. Iowa is down. Here's your chance. Northwestern is awful. You go to Maryland. Maryland's a quality team. I like Purdue's coaching matchup. Usually in these games Maryland's played where it's 3 one way or the other, they've lost. I just feel like it's a hard bounce back after such a huge game against Minnesota. I would lean, sadly, with the Terrapins.
I'm going to go the other direction.
Okay.
I like Purdue in this spot. Purdue got a win against a pretty good Minnesota squad last week with Aiden O'Connell playing like trash. Now, he was banged up, he was hurt, it was a game time decision. I get all that. But I don't think Aiden O'Connell is that bad 2 weeks in a row. If Purdue's defense can come close to matching what they did last week, I think you get more out of the Purdue offense. Again, I think I've got the better quarterback and I'm getting points. All things are equal. Take the better quarterback getting points. I'll go with the Boilers here.
All right, let's stay in the Big Ten. It's homecoming for the Hoosiers today down in Bloomington. So Indiana, they welcome 4th-ranked Michigan to Memorial Stadium. IU is a heavy 22.5-point underdog against the Wolverines. Hammer, are you feeling or fading this one to cover?
First of all, Indiana's not going to win. Let's make that perfectly clear. But I'm going to feel Indiana because the line is 22. And Tom Allen of IU is one of those coaches to where he'll score a last-minute backdoor cover touchdown to only lose by 21, and he'll have his guys all in the locker room singing the fight song at the end of the game. He's one of those guys. So Indiana usually plays Michigan pretty well down in Bloomington. Year in and year out, it's one of the games they get up for. Tom Allen, he finds a way, gets that backdoor cover. They don't win, but they cover the spread. I'm feeling it.
I love that reasoning, and I agree. You made me visualize Tom Allen. He is kind of like college football's Motor City Dan Campbell. He's looking for that backdoor cover, and then afterwards he's like, we outdid our talent even though we lost 3 touchdowns. I'm with you. I think IU finishes it out at the end.
All right. Okay, last one. Coming off one of the largest comebacks in history for the school, Hammer, your alma mater, will look to make 2 straight wins today. Ball State is a 7.5-point road underdog against Central Michigan. Scott, are you feeling her faded
Let me
card?
jump
No,
in
I
here.
want
Hold on,
him to
hold on,
go.
hold on,
Oh,
hold
here
on,
we
hold
go.
on.
He's the Ball State
So
crowd.
our producer, Peter, who's not here today, he's like a Ball State super fan. He went to Ball State. He still loves Ball State, all that kind of stuff. Listen, Ball State got a lot of money from the Hammer family. I feel like our deal, our transaction is over here. Nobody cares about this game. Nobody is tuning into All Indiana Bets going, are they going to talk about the SEC? Are they going to talk about Ohio State? No, we're talking about Ball State and Western Michigan. I know the show is All Indiana Bets, but you couldn't get me to bet on this game if $100 bills were shooting out of my TV in real time. No, this is awful. I don't even want to talk about this game. Peter's not here today. Let's move on.
Scott, do you have anything? I mean, that was a lot.
I am feeling his comments.
Thank you.
And I want to buy one of these TVs that shoots out $100 bills. That's the other thing I'm looking for. Let's move on, Danielle.
Okay,
Give
let's
people
just
what they want. Come
Real
on.
games. Real games.
let's just go to our second pick. Scott, second pick.
Oh, wait a minute. I just said real games, and now I'm gonna
What's
show
that
this
second
one.
pick, Scott?
Put it right up. Here we go. No one here in the whole state cares about Boise State and Fresno State.
I take everything back. I'm sorry, Ball State. I'm sorry.
And then I throw in play the under. I mean, I can't even give you a side. That's how, but I love this game. And here's why. The money spends, right, Hammer? Isn't that our rule?
That's the rule.
This is a degenerate pick on many levels. Both teams have stumped. They've been way worse than expected. Both teams are known for their offense, but they can't score. Fresno lost their star quarterback in the USC game when they were close, and they've been awful since. Boise brought back Dirk Cutter. He used to be their head coach. He's helped their offense a little bit, but that's too many points. You might as well be looking at an Iowa-Illinois game. That's the kind of offense that this game is. Play the under. You don't have to even stay up. Just cash it in the morning.
All right, Hammer, who do you have?
Not all heroes wear capes, and it's my duty to rescue this show right now.
Hold on, I am a hero. I am wearing
Oh,
Dad
there we go.
Superman shirt right here.
That gets a slow cap.
So let me bring us to the SEC, a game where people actually want to watch today. A&M and Alabama, the over-under is set at 48 here. This feels like way too low of a number. Now I get it, A&M's offense hasn't been rock solid all year long. But you know what? Neither has Alabama's defense. And if you're going to get the best effort from A&M, it's going to be in this game. Let's be honest. Jimbo's had all year to break down how they're going to beat Alabama. Right? That's the biggest thing for A&M. Nobody's going to care about the games they've lost this year if they show up and they find a way to compete with Alabama. The total here is 48. Bama's good for 35 on their own, maybe more. So if you get just a little help from A&M, you should be fine. I don't trust Bama's defense enough to pitch a shutout or even come close to it. So enjoy the game, watch the game, root for offense, and we're going to ride the lightning and go over 48.
Coming up next, it's the segment you've all been waiting for. Scott will give you a long shot and Hammer will give you a degenerate special. We'll see you at the bar in a couple minutes.
The Long Shot, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook.
This is really good.
I know.
Like,
I was just saying.
fire.
This.
We got the Evan Williams fire going on here. Got a little Pitbull fireball. That's your favorite guy, isn't it, Scott? Scott loves Pitbull. Loves the music of Pitbull.
The discussion's on commercial break. You just need to hear about it. It was all about
I
Pitbull.
love dogs, and Patty, listen to me right now. Would never want to hurt a pit bull. You know, some people are. You can put him down though.
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
the sing-
Come
okay.
on.
The singer put him down. Okay,
Okay,
so
put your glasses on,
this
Scott.
week is
Here we go.
amazing. Probably the best one we've had in weeks. I'm really loving
It
it.
is a good one.
Okay, so what are we doing?
No, you're putting
The
your glasses
long
on because
shot.
it's time for your long shot.
It's long and
bud.
it's strong and it's down to get the money on.
So Washington State plays USC, and USC, everyone's just touting USC, and oh my gosh, USC is so amazing. Look what Lincoln Riley's done. Yeah, and they've been the luckiest team in college football this year. They had their first turnover of the season last week. One all year. their plus minus is off the charts. It's not going to continue. Washington State plays a havoc style defense. That's one of my favorite stats. If you're looking deep into the weeds of gambling, look up havoc. Teams that create havoc are the kind of teams that cover spreads, because I'm looking at a pick 6 probably Washington State makes in this game. 12.5 is way too much. This is the same team that went into Madison and beat them pretty well, kind of exposed the Badgers to the point where last week it cost Wisconsin's coach his job. I go Washington State, definitely to cover the 12.5.
All right, and time for the Degenerate Special. Jason, take it away.
Oh, do we have a graphic? Do we bring? That does my heart right. Now, for those who may be watching this program for the very first time, you might be asking yourself, what's the Degenerate Special? The Degenerate Special is a game that nobody cares about. The parents don't care, the alumni doesn't care, the players might not even care. But Las Vegas cares. They care so much they put a line on it. So it feels like we'd be doing a disservice if we didn't reward their hard work. So let's go. The money you win on this game spends the same if you're betting on A&M and Alabama. And listen, we're getting close to the midterm elections. Georgia is going to be a battleground state. All eyes are on Georgia. But this matchup here, substantially bigger than anything the Senate race has to offer. Georgia Southern, Georgia State. Look at that over-under. Why is this number so high? I get these teams aren't really offensive powerhouses, but come on here. This is too high. The defenses will show up a little bit. If you thought the Colts and Broncos game was ugly, then put your big boy pants on. I can't believe this number is this high. We're going to take this down low, low, low. We're going under 66.5. That is your Degenerate Special.
Wow.
Time for another break.
That was a lot of Georgia talk without Herschel Walker.
Hey, don't go anywhere, though. The best is yet to come. The boys will give you their best bets of the day, brought to you by Evan Williams Bourbon. That's all next on All Indiana Bets.
The Best Bet is brought to you by Evan Williams. Bourbon done right.
It is time for our best bets of the day. They are brought to you by Evan Williams Bourbon. The fire today.
Man, this is so good.
It is really good.
This is going to get me into trouble.
It really is good. Mr. Long, who do you got?
So we are sponsored by Caesars Sportsbook. For the people, the dad bod is here. You see it. All the dad bods out there, you're like, what is the next game? Mr. Big Ten, where are all your picks? I don't like the Big Ten scheduled. There are going to be a couple interesting games, but wait till next week on that. This week we go to the ACC, and last week was North Carolina State's probably biggest game that they played forever. That was the big game at late night, and they failed against Clemson. And Florida State at the same time was playing Wake Forest, and they failed too. So this is two teams that thought they had a chance at finally winning the ACC, and they're not. North Carolina State was ranked around 11 when they started the year. I do not see them losing 2 straight games. This is not a big enough spread against a Florida State team that I think is starting to fall down the hole like they did the last few years. Go with North Carolina State. It's a small number as a fave.
All right, Hammer, who do you have?
Man, let's be honest. Scott and I don't agree on a lot, right? We're different people. We don't agree politically. Sometimes I think Scott is a little loud and annoying, and his stories go on too long. And like maybe his hygiene isn't always there, but he's right. Today he's right. He's right. Washington State, this is too many points.
Yeah.
This is the part of the season where Lincoln Riley's teams usually start to fade a little bit. Look at the history of head coach Lincoln Riley and his teams. Right when that calendar flips to October, there's a couple weeks of a slow and steady decline as the competition steps up a little bit. Listen, they might even win this game today, but 12.5 is way too many points here. I'm with Scott. Give me the 12.5 with Washington State.
For the record, Scott, I don't think you're that loud. I sit next to this guy.
I was
so.
more concerned about this hygiene thing. I'm still trying to figure out that, but go ahead, Danielle.
Usually it's the person that doesn't know they stink that, well.
All right, all right. Okay, now it's time for a segment we like to call Ballin' on a Budget. Hammer, all yours.
Speaking of things that stink, parlay bets. Listen, I'm not a parlay guy. I say this all the time. I think they're sucker bets. But if you're desperate, if you're down to your last $5 and you're like, I really, really need to make $50 in a hurry, I got you. This is how we're going to do it today. We got 4 games. If you just bet $5 on, you can win over 50 bucks. How about a little Major League Baseball playoffs today? The Blue Jays on the money line. They're not going to go down 0-2. They're not losing 2 straight. This series will extend. Tampa Bay and Cleveland. Over under is set at 5.5. We saw yesterday in Major League Baseball playoffs, you can have 1 inning, even if it's the 9th, that can give you a 6th spot to bail you out. This is too low of a number. Good pitching matchup, but way too low. Let's go back to college football here. San Diego State laying 23.5. We're going to take that against Hawaii because Hawaii stinks. And Wisconsin and Northwestern under 44. I think this is going to be an interesting game. It's going to be an ugly game. Wind, a little bit of cold weather. The under is the play here. You put all these together, you make one bet, you put $5 on it, boom goes the dynamite, my friends. You turn $5 into 50. You're welcome.
Okay, you make a joke about my hygiene, which I'll accept. You can see I'm a little bitter about. But then you say Hawaii stinks. You're comparing me to Hawaii.
You're right. I'm sorry, that's not fair.
Don't do that.
That's not fair
Okay,
to you.
boys.
That's how bad Hawaii is.
Coming
That's not fair
up
to Scott.
next. Pepper, a.k.a. Alan Cashman, a.k.a. the Cash
I
Man,
smell
is
the
standing
money,
by.
actually.
He's going to make you some money next on All Indiana Bets.
Look who I got here. I got the Cashman. And now I'm looking back here. You got new posters. You're in a different room. I call him Jam Band Cashman. Government Mule, Fish. Good we don't drug test our bettors here. Let's hear the Cashman on what your picks are this week.
Thanks, Scott. I'm going to take North Carolina plus 3.5. Sent it out at plus 4 earlier this week, but it's plus 3.5 now. Miami's pass defense, number 128 in yards per pass allowed, while North Carolina, they're number 6 in yards per pass. UNC has won the last 3 meetings, including a 36-point win the last time in Miami. So I'm going to take North Carolina today, plus 3.5. I think it's a good chance they win this one straight up.
That was a sweet breakdown. I enjoyed that. Now, I heard you might have a second pick today. Is that true, Cashman?
I'm going to take, Western Kentucky. I'm going to take their team total over 32.5. Western Kentucky, number 6 in the nation, points per game. They're playing UTSA, who's number 112 in points per game allowed. Hilltopper's pretty balanced. They scored 41 and 46 points in 2 meetings last year with UTSA. I think they lost the last week and only scored 27 points, but I think they're going to bounce back here today. So I'm going to take Western Kentucky's team total over 32.5 points.
Now, for our viewers that haven't been paying any attention and why you've not been paying attention, I don't understand. You must hate money. Cashman has been Mr. Baseball the last month. Done great. How do people get not only your football but your baseball picks?
Go to my website, thecashmanwins.com. We are 34 and 15, last 49 subscriber plays. You can get a lifetime pass there for $199. That's normally $399. Just go to thecashmanwins.com.
34 and 15. There you go. Why wouldn't you call? And let me say one more thing. Say the word Kentucky again, because that is the most Indiana way to say Kentucky. It's so insulting. Let's hear it.
Kentucky.
Love it. That's the way you should say it. I am working on it.
Thanks, Cashman. Hey, we're not done yet. Hammer and Scott each have a pick, and so do I. Final picks from these boys, and the world-famous Mick pick coming up next on All Indiana Bets.
Betting lines for All Indiana Bets are presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook.
It is already final pick time, boys. Scott, take it away.
So this was the last pick, and it was kind of a bounce back thing where I'm like, what is going on with the different line changes? You got to really watch for that. So I finally jumped on the bubble that's about to burst. It's called TCU. That's the bubble that's about to burst. No, it's Kansas who they're playing. Kansas, everybody's like, we love Kansas. I love Kansas. They're a great basketball school that has pretended to be a good football school. Last week, they watched a freshman kicker for Iowa State miss 3 field goals. 2 of them doinked off there, and that's how they won and covered the game. TCU is not that team. I'm not sure they're not the best offense in college football. Sonny Dykes comes into TCU. They've got a Heisman Trophy potential quarterback, as a lot of the other quarterbacks, including Alabama's, has gotten hurt. This is a game where the Kansas fans all show up finally, and then they walk over to Allen Fieldhouse and watch the basketball team at halftime. I like TCU.
Okay, Hammer, who do you have for your final pick?
So we're going to go to the ACC here for the final pick, and if you're looking for defense, this game ain't it. We've got North Carolina, we've got Miami. The over-under is set at 66 points. 66. Now keep in mind, North Carolina's defense made Notre Dame look like that USC squad that had Reggie Bush and Lindale White and Matt Leinart. That's the North Carolina defense. Miami's going to put up a big number, but North Carolina can score on their own. So I know this is a big number. Don't be scared by it. This is one of those games where punts are not going to be aplenty. Over 66 is the play on this one. Nobody's going to play any defense. Some pretty decent offenses. Let's go.
All right. Here, hold this for me.
I got you.
May I have your glasses, please?
Uh-oh. Oh, man.
Here we go. It's time for the Mick pick.
Oh, here
and I
we
figure
go.
this is a long shot, so we're going to do this.
Oh.
I told you.
Okay, where am I looking? I can't even
Business
see.
is about to pick up.
I can't even see. So, I'm taking Indiana plus the 22.5. Let me tell you a little bit about Indiana football. I've been following it for decades. This is what they do to us. They have a lot of non-conference games in the beginning that they win. So then we're like, this is our year. This is our year. And then the regular season starts, and then we're back to reality. But in each of those regular season games, they give us a little bit of hope. Indiana has played rather well with Michigan, and Michigan is waiting for Penn State next week. They're like, we'll just play Indiana until we get to the real game. I'm telling you what, put money on Indiana plus the 22.5, and that is your Mick pick. I'm taking these off because I can't see.
I'm not going to
anything.
lie. I'm digging like the hot librarian look. Totally.
Thank you.
Scott, how come you don't look that good in those glasses the way that Danielle looks?
Oh, you're still talking about me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you some Dewey Decimal System right here.
Well,
I am all
next time
over
you
the
put those on, I want
library.
you to say molecules and
Dad
thesaurus.
bod,
That's
I
all.
mean, try to put those on. You can't see a thing.
We have a brand new camera person who went to IU, and she's like,
smart.
This show is not like what they taught us at J school.
No, it's the total opposite of every TV show you've ever watched.
Okay, if you're
gotta
just
go get a
tuning
drink.
in, if you missed all these
I didn't even
picks,
get a smoke
they're
after seeing
leaving.
those glasses.
Don't you worry, we're going to wrap it all up for you, and they'll have a full recap next on All Indiana Bets. You really can't see it.
What have we got here? It is best bet times, and
It's recap time. It's not best bet time, it's recap time. We just did best bets earlier. Come on, Dad Bod.
all facts. Okay, I'm
Who's it
guessing
presented by?
Caesar Sportsbook. 3 of the 5, I think, are best bets in this circumstance, and I'm starting with LSU. Yes, it's 11 a.m. in Baton Rouge. Some of those Cajuns are not up yet. I get that. But by the second half, they'll come in hard, stinking of moonshine and gumbo. Go with the Tigers. Fresno, Boise, under 45.5. Why would you want to be part of this game? Because it makes you money. These 2 offenses are trash. Washington State plus 12.5. Hammer will discuss it as well. We both think the Trojans have been a little too overvalued, been very lucky, North Carolina State -3.5. This is a high-quality team. They have NFL players. They didn't look particularly good against Clemson, but they are far superior than Florida State. 3.5, you got to bang that one. And the final one, yes, I'm sorry, Kansas. It's been a great story. You had a wonderful start. You get all these shows coming to your hometown. They even asked us, I don't know if you heard that, I didn't want to make the drive. And they said they had a little, like, I don't know, smart car that Hammer and I had to drive together. So TCU -7.5. That's a winner. 3 of the 5, maybe 4 of the 5 are going to win you money. I am back on the winning train.
The band Kansas, greater than the football team Kansas.
I love Kansas.
When they play Wayward Son live like they did at the Indiana State Fair earlier this year, there's not a dry eye in the house.
No, and their season is dust in the wind.
See?
Thank you. We can do
Full
this all
circle.
day.
We can do this all day.
Yeah.
We'll be here all night. All right, so I'm on the same game as Scott with this LSU and Tennessee thing, but I'm going under. It is an early morning start. It's 11 o'clock local time. This is such a gift to the Tennessee football program. They're not playing this game at night. I think you're going to see some better than expected defensive play. This is the best defensive squad Tennessee has faced all year. So we're going to go under. That's too high of a total. And in regards to the LSU fans drinking moonshine, that's what us Vol fans have for breakfast. All right? We invented moonshine. Alabama and A&M. We're going over on this one. I think Bama is good for 35 on their own. Even on a bad day, Bama's going to give you 35. If you get just a little help from Texas A&M, your toes are tapping here. And it's not like the Alabama defense is the second coming of the 85 Bears. They're not. How about the degenerate special, Georgia Southern and Georgia State? Listen, I have spent way too much time studying this game. I've neglected my day job, I've ignored my kids, breaking down all the numbers, and I feel confident the play here is the under on the battle for Georgia. Who needs the midterms race when you have this battle right here? Washington State, I'm with Scott. This is the time of the year where Lincoln Riley's teams traditionally have a little bit of a hiccup. They come out a little bit flat. Have they been lucky this year? Sure. Now, I've made some money on USC this year, and they might still win this game, but that's an awful lot of points to lay. Give me Washington State plus 12.5, and UNC in Miami. If you're looking for defense, you're not going to find it. North Carolina's defense may be one of the worst in the country. Notre Dame fans, back me up here. You know your offense is not very good, and they put up a big number against North Carolina. App State put up a big number against North Carolina. Everybody puts up a big number against North Carolina, and Miami can score. And it's not like Miami's defense is that great either. So over 66, that's the play here. These are our picks.
Hammer, you've created a new character this week. You always are known as the degenerate gambler, but this week, Jason, over/under Hammer.
Right.
What is all for? How about it taking a side on something? You got one game. I don't like the trend on this. You better win. That's all I'm going to say.
You need to get another drink because this is my second one, and I'm feeling pretty good right now. This thing is really good. Again, if you're looking for a beverage, Evan Williams, fire. This thing is amazing.
That's the best one we've had this year.
All right, when we come back here, we got a little something for you here. Big race coming up at Harrah's Hoosier Park Racing and Casino. Our guy George, he's going to tell you how you can win some money up at Harrah's Hoosier Park. That is coming up next, right here on All Indiana Bets.
Hey guys, we're here at Harrah's Hoosier Park because we got a big night of racing coming up on October 14th. The Indiana Sire Stakes Super Finals. It's all Jacob Reinheimer is with me now from the marketing department at Harrah's. Walk us through the significance of this big night.
Absolutely. This is Indiana's biggest night. It's Harrah's Hoosier Park's richest night of the year each year. Over 2.3 million in purses just in these Indiana Sire Stakes Super Finals alone. 12 championship races on the night. It's a huge night for Indiana.
And walk us through what built up to this point, because we had stakes races leading up to Friday night that these horses have all qualified for Friday night?
Yeah, so kind of like NASCAR, they're trying to earn points throughout the year. So 3-year-olds compete in 8 legs over the year, 2-year-olds compete in 6 legs over the year, trying to earn points to get in this final. We'll take the top 10 points earners over the year, and they'll race in these $250,000 finals.
Are there big names that we should all have in mind if we're coming out here on Friday night?
Absolutely. The big one is probably Pond Adventure. He's been on a tear through this Indiana program all year long. Undefeated in the Indiana Sire Stakes. Finished second in last year's Indiana Sire Stakes Super Final to Dover in Motion. He's come back this year just absolutely on a tear. Undefeated, 10 for 10. Can't wait to see Pond Adventure.
Now, we broadcast to our fellow, or I say my fellow degenerates, because this is all about railbirds who want to do some betting. When it comes to betting on the harness horses, what is your philosophy? What should we be looking out for?
Yeah, so there's something for everyone. If you're just going to just put a win, play, show bet, something like that, or you can go deeper with kind of the multi-race kind of parlays, the pick 4, stuff like that.
That means picking a winner in 4 straight races or in 4 races throughout the night.
Absolutely. It's tough to do, but there's a little bit more money on the line if you can pull it off. I don't do it too often, but it is great to do if you can pull it off.
Are there sleepers that maybe my viewers don't know about that might want to be in consideration for some of the big races on that night?
Yeah, I think so for sure. One is going to be Bluebird Dove. She's got a little rivalry going with Stream, who kind of like Pond Adventure is undefeated in Indiana Sire Stakes. But Bluebird Dove, she was just at Ohio last week where she set a world record for 3-year-old trotting fillies on a half-mile track. 152-2 for Team Wren. So she's going to come back Friday night looking to get that first win over Stream. I think she could get it done.
And she'll go off at a good price, you think? Or?
I think so. At least 5 to 1 or higher, I think, for Bluebird Dove.
And that's why we come out here to the backside at Harrah's Hoosier Park, is to get you some racing intel, because I'm looking out for my fellow degenerate railbirds. This is George Mallet reporting for All Indiana Bets.
I've always said if I were going to own a racehorse, the name of the horse would be Hoof Hearted, right? H-O-O-F, hoof, because the horses have hooves. And then hearted, because you want your racehorse to have hooves. Now say it really quick and you'll understand why that's a great joke.
Oh my goodness.
You're welcome.
And the last time we did that segment wasn't quite as good because the horse was in George's sugar cubes in the back pocket.
Right.
These two were very upset. They're like, "Come on, horse, eat his
No,
pocket."
don't
eat
even
his
say
pocket.
anymore. Let's
There was
go.
a carrot hanging off of somewhere the last time that
It
the
was
horse
dynamite.
found.
Now there's still time to chat. You guys can
Okay.
chat with me.
Well, here's what I want to chat about, and that is we have an NFL show that people love.
Yes.
People love it. People think it's the best.
We haven't won any
Maybe
awards.
our last
Nobody
president.
thinks
I
that,
was
but it's
doing a
tomorrow.
joke there, but-
Yeah, we're doing that tomorrow.
No, we are doing well in the NFL. I hope you're going to watch. We have no Colts game. You're like, what am I going to do? You're going to bet on the games. You're going to watch us drink, and we have food.
No,
That
you're going
is
to drink
fun.
with us. You're not going to watch us
Please
drink
drink with us.
You're going to buy some Evan Williams, and you're going to drink with us.
Yes, and it starts at noon, so it's not even too early, right? According to Hammer and I.
You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. If you want to start at noon, start at noon. If you want to start earlier, welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah.
It is a party on Sundays with these guys. I love it that we all agree on the Hoosiers for once.
Which means everybody should completely go the other direction.
Oh,
Hammer the Wolverines
no.
today. If all of us are on the same game, hammer the other side. It's not even close.
No.
Fade the public.
It's going to be a good game.
This is one of those
Would you
games-
rather watch that or your Ball State game?
My Ball State
Yes.
game? When did it become my Ball State game? It's
Every
Peter's Ball
therapy
State
session
game.
that you have talking
Every
about.
time you refer to Hammer, you need to say my ball.
My Ball State.
That really gets under his collar. And I will also share.
Bring the tissues,
We
too.
had no Peter today. I think that's what threw things off. I always felt
That's why the show was good.
Yeah, his
Oh,
segments
Peter, we
always.
miss you.
Oh, the camera crew's laughing at me. I'm getting booed in here.
Stop it.
Really?
Hey,
Really?
Congratulations to Chris, who's been dynamite on his maiden journey. Hey, mom and dad, your son is actually tuned out and turned out well. The people think that
We're going to get him liquored up now.
Oh, my goodness.
I
No.
knew Peter's segments were too long because
Right.
we had so much extra time today. it was all that.
Right, see, this show's better when we have extra time. And now we're going to celebrate. The camera crew, Chris who ran it, it's Lucy's first day.
Yeah.
Let's crack open this Evan Williams fire and let's win so much money we're above the law.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Sorry you had to listen to them ramble at the end. But
You're welcome.
we miss
Some of us
you,
get paid
Peter.
pretty well to ramble.
Say it. We miss you, Peter.
Good luck, everybody.
We will see you tomorrow at noon for the NFL version of All In Yet Bets. In the meantime, good luck gambling today.
May the odds be ever in your favor, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk tomorrow.
Cheers.
Hot bets, picks, and more tomorrow. Cheers, everybody.